As most of you probably know by this point, AeroGarden has bit the dust. It is no more. And for those of us that want to continue growing inside, well, you can still get your hands on those AeroGardens. I would do that. I picked up a couple of extra ones myself, but we need to look for other alternatives. I had asked you guys in the AeroGarden is Dead video, I'll link it up above, if you've tried any other brands of hydroponic systems, what ones did you like? And one of the ones that kept coming up was the Uruk. And because of that, I wanted to try it out for myself. So I got my hands on one. This is it here in the box. We will unbox this, take a look at it, set it up, and then I will be doing a future video kind of showing how it's growing. So this will be more about getting my first impressions of it. Looking at the box, it calls out that it's got full spectrum lights, it's soil-free and eco-friendly planting, but we already knew that because we're growing hydroponically. Automatic cycles for the water system, adjustable height and angle of the light. That's something that you don't have on the AeroGarden, so I was kind of interested to check that out. This one is an 8-pod garden, and this one cost me 70 Canadian dollars, so I'm sure it's much cheaper for my American friends. And with the 8 pods, it's kind of putting it between the Harvest and the Bounty. Harvest having 6, Bounty having 9. And judging by the picture, it looks like they may be all in a row. If you guys have watched any of my other videos, you know I'm always telling you guys not to plant all the holes. And sometimes the orientation or how they've set out the holes can make a difference in how much you can actually plant. But we'll take a look at that. And it says it has a visual water level. Now, because this was only $70, I am not expecting it to be super fancy. It has a light on it that is supposed to indicate when you need to add water. It turns blue when it's time to put water in. It does also mention that it has a water shortage shutdown prevention. I'm assuming that means that, like, you know, before the water level gets too low, it's going to turn off to protect your pump, which, assuming it has that, that's actually kind of a cool feature. So the pump is on for 30 minutes and off for 30 minutes. The light is going to be on for 16 hours and off for 8, so that's kind of your standard. It has 2 growing modes, one for vegetables and one for fruit and flowering. So let's get this thing out of the box. I went with the white version. I believe they also have a black version. But if this works, this is a lot cheaper. This is probably part of the reason that AeroGarden went out of business. Now, it stands to see whether this thing would last as long as the AeroGardens, because, knock on wood, I have not had an AeroGarden crap out on me yet. And I have been growing for over 10 years with AeroGardens. And I still have all of them, except for the ones that I've regifted. I gave my AeroGarden farm to my sister, and I gave my original Harvest to my mom, and they are both using them and growing food still. And I also haven't had to replace a thing on them. Honestly, I feel like I might be jinxing myself by saying that, but so far so good. Okay, I'm gonna slide this out, I think. Might be the best way. The light is right there, and I don't want to break it. Or drop this thing on the floor. All right, so nothing else in the box. We're looking good. First impressions, it's cute. And I'm excited about that. The light's just gonna push up. The holes are all around. They are, some of them are kind of close together. I mean, I would not be planting all of those 3. I might only just do that one. I think it would depend on what's going in. These ones are a little bit more spaced out. Kind of a weird orientation, but we'll work with it. It shows that the pump is going to plug in back there. It's already in there. It's got a 3-liter capacity that it's showing there. It did mention that blue light. Okay. Let's push this back down. So on the top, we have a bunch of light indicators. What do we have? One for power, one for water, one for, I guess, when it's in vegetable mode, and one when it is in fruit and flower mode. It does go very, very low. You would only want it there for a very short period of time, I guess, when the seeds are germinating. It doesn't have a huge grow height from the grow deck to the maximum height. So we got 9.5 inches. We have some tape on the front here. Tape was just holding in place the cover for the water. That makes more sense. The cover was in the wrong place. It's meant to go on this one. You have a better distribution of the holes on the deck. If you've watched any of my cleaning videos, you know A, I hate cleaning, and B, I hate cleaning them when they're all bumpy and hard to access. There are a lot of ridges on here, but nothing horrible. And then it looks like all the goodies are inside. So I've seen these types of fertilizers before. They have the type A and type B. Not my favorite. I'll probably use my own. They give you the A and the B nutrients. They also gave some extras, which is nice, so you can refill those. So we've got some baskets. They're a little bit squishy. They're not too hard. Close enough to what you get from AeroGarden, I guess. So they gave us 9 of the baskets. We have our power cord. This is interesting. I don't know what's in this bag. Okay, you know what? I'm kind of liking this more. They give you more of these little covers. They got the little handle on them. So many systems do not give you covers. And then everybody thinks you're going to plant all the holes. Do not plant all the holes. But at least if you have these, it starts to hopefully get people to question, well, why did they give me extra covers? You don't have to use these things for the covers. You could use golf balls. You could use anything that's going to be opaque and not let light in. But essentially, any times when you're growing hydroponically, you have water, nutrients, and light, you have the chance to get algae. So by covering up any open holes, you're kind of reducing the light gets in, taking that out of the equation, and reducing your chance you get algae. So AeroGarden does make their own covers, but they don't give it to you with the system. Click and Grow, I don't think they make covers, and they definitely don't give it to you with the system. Rise Garden does make covers, and they do give it to you with the system. So Rise Garden was the first one that I'd seen do that, which I really liked. We also have some of the sticker covers. So once your sponge is in and your seeds are in, then you're going to put the cover on top, again, to take that light out of the equation. And this last bag here, we've got some grow sponges. Very smooth. The AeroGarden ones are not so smooth. I'm going to do some digging and see what is in these, and then I will put a comment on the screen. Pleasantly surprised, especially for the price. They seem to have covered all the bases of what you would need. I think the thing that we're really going to need to see is how long does this last? Obviously, I can't put this in the video because if it lasts for years, I would never post the video. But I will continue to use this one and do updates. So I think what I'll do to plant this one up to hopefully test it out pretty well, I'm going to do a herb, I'm going to do a lettuce, I'm going to do a micro tomato, and I'm going to do some dwarf peas, and then we'll see how this thing does. Okay, I'm starting to like this thing even more. So these, I hadn't seen these. I've just seen they're hard plastic, and I'm noticing that it has all of the holes in here. So I am going to assume that these are some plant stands, which again, I don't think any of them come with that stock, not even Rise Garden. Okay, they're kind of tall. Let's see how this works. So they fit right in. Well, how is that going to work? So they fit in, but the light doesn't go above them. Oh, my goodness. I stand corrected. The grow height is not 9 inches. I'm going to put this in here. I didn't have it fully extended. Okay, ready? It is quite high. So I am going to remeasure this now. Honestly, guys, I'm getting more and more impressed. We have a grow height of about just under 15.5 inches. Okay. I might have to rethink what we're growing in here now. I am very impressed. This is my very impressed face. This is a smart little system. Every hole on here, with the exception of the one where the water is supposed to go in, has a spot for one of those stands to go in. Obviously, you can't add them in until the light is at a certain height or they're not going to fit. I'm so impressed. Enough gushing about this thing that I haven't even yet plugged in. I'm going to take this upstairs. I will get it all plugged in. We'll check out the lights, see how bright it is. So I got it upstairs. This is kind of where I'm going to put it. I have my trusty water jug that I love. And as I was bringing it upstairs, I actually discovered a couple of things. I found that there was a set of tweezers in there. There was also some plant tags. Was the other thing I found in there too. They had domes as well. So, and then I saw this and I'm like, what is that and where did it come from? So what I found is a spare plug over here where there is a drain. I guess they're thinking this will make it easier to empty. I am a little nervous about filling this up and having the water potentially just run out all over my dresser. So I think I'm going to put this in a little tub just in case. we have catastrophic failure, which hopefully we won't, and it'll be something that I'll be like, oh, this is an amazing idea. And I think I'm going to do all the outside ones, so I'm going to use these extra plugs. Everything is in there. Just wish I had one more. Maybe I'll move that one so they all match, and I'll put an AeroGarden cover there. So I just ran downstairs and got one of my Bootstrap farmer trays. I'll put a link in the description in case anyone wants to check them out. That's what I use for all my outdoor seedling starting. It doesn't look as pretty, but hey, just in case, I'd rather be prepared. Making sure that that is firmly pressed in there. The power cord's going to go right in there. We're not going to turn it on yet, though. Set that over there. Before we ever turn on one of these units, you want to make sure that it is full of water. I'm just using tap water for this. And now we can plug it in and see what we have. Drum roll, please. Dun, 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 dun. Power light is on, so let's hit that. Oh, Lord. All right, she's running. She's bright. Lights on. Interesting little pump down there. You can see in the reflection of the water, we have the white lights, the red lights, and the blue lights. So there we have it. So far, so good. And I'll do the follow-up video getting it all planted. I have some dill that I saved myself. There's one dwarf pea floating around in there. I'm going to do the little gem lettuce, and I'm going to do these Monetka micro tomatoes.